Fear. It's the quiet shadow that follows every step you take. It's the invisible hand that pulls you backward just when you're about to step forward. It's the voice in your mind that whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if you lose everything? But listen to me, fear is not your enemy. Fear is the doorway, and every great thing you dream of is waiting right on the other side. We all grow up believing fear is a sign to stop. But the truth, fear is a sign that you're standing exactly where transformation begins. I want you to pause for a moment and think about one thing, one dream, one decision, one step that fear has been stopping you from taking. Maybe it's starting that business. Maybe it's walking away from a toxic relationship. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for the mistakes you can't forget. Maybe it's finally admitting that you want more from life than what you've settled for. Whatever it is, that fear has been holding you hostage long enough. And I'm telling you today, from the deepest part of my being, it's time to face your fear.
Fear looks different for everyone. For me, it looked like disappointment. I was afraid of trying because I didn't want to face failure again. I remember a season in my life when everything felt heavy. Dreams felt too far, hope felt too thin, and courage felt completely lost. One night, I sat on the edge of my bed, exhausted. My heart was tired, my mind was loud, and fear was winning. I asked myself, what if this is it? What if I never become the person I see in my mind? But something rose inside me that night, a small voice, a quiet strength, a whisper that said, try again. Not because the path was easy, not because the fear disappeared, but because something deep in me refused to die. And that is when I learned something that changed the course of my whole life. Fear doesn't leave before you move. Fear leaves after you move.
You're waiting to stop being scared before you start, but that day will never come. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move while your hands are shaking, while your voice is trembling, while your heart is racing. You think strong people are fearless? No, strong people simply refuse to bow to fear. Fear screams, you can't do it, and courage whispers, watch me. Fear says, what if you fail? And courage replies, what if I fly? Fear asks, what if you lose? And courage answers, what if I win something I've never imagined?
The fear of being alone, the fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of starting over, the fear of success. Yes, even success scares people. Let me tell you a truth that will set you free. Life will not hand you the courage you need. You must create it. Courage is built in moments. Moments when you choose to speak when silence feels safer. Moments when you decide to try when quitting feels easier. Moments when you wake up again after life has knocked the breath out of you. Every time you face your fear, you shrink it. Every time you run from it, you feed it. Fear tells you stories about your limits, stories about your weakness, stories about your past mistakes. But hear me, fear knows you are powerful. Fear knows you are capable. Fear knows you are greater than you realize. That's why it keeps shouting. Because the moment you stop listening, the moment you stand up, the moment you take one bold step, fear loses.
A friend of mine once told me something I will never forget. He said there was a time he wanted to start his own business, but he was terrified. He kept thinking, what if nobody supports me? What if I waste my time? What if it doesn't work? One day, he went to visit his grandfather. As they sat outside, his grandfather looked at him and said, my child, the graveyard is full of people who died with fear, still sitting on their dreams. That sentence shook his entire soul because he realized something profound. Fear doesn't disappear with time. Fear disappears with action. He started his business. He made mistakes. He stumbled. He cried. He doubted himself, but he did it afraid. And today, he's living a life that fear once told him was impossible.
This is your moment. This is your sign. This is your reminder that you may feel scared, but you are not weak. You may feel uncertain, but you are not lost. You may feel small, but you carry a fire inside you that fear cannot extinguish. You were not born to hide behind doubt. You were not born to shrink. You were not born to settle. You were born to rise. You were born to expand. You were born to walk boldly into the life that has been calling your name. Face the fear of failure, face the fear of judgment, face the fear of starting, face the fear of being seen, face the fear of being different, face the fear of losing, face the fear of becoming who you truly are. Because on the other side of fear is clarity, on the other side is purpose, on the other side is strength, on the other side is freedom, on the other side is the life you've been dreaming of. You owe yourself that life. You owe yourself that chance. You owe yourself the courage to step into the unknown. Yes, you will shake. Yes, you will doubt. Yes, you will feel fear rise in your chest. But face it, stand firm, and move forward anyway. Because when you face your fears, you unlock the version of yourself you were always meant to become.